Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam. Corn on the cob. What do I need to do first? I need to share the stream. Yeah. Okay.
It's not because of anything you just did, but I'm suddenly thinking of that one music cue from Night of the Seven Kingdoms with the whistling.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of really good music in that. I've that our friend April took her first leap into the Game of Thrones universe by watching A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Okay. It's probably a good place to start.
And then it ended up being a gateway drug to the first episode of House of the Dragon. Because HBO just like auto-played it, I guess, for her. And she said that she's hooked now, so... Oh man, I had that iOS update, and now everything's different. I'm going to switch this over there. All right, are we ready to go?
I think we have to be.
It's exactly 7. No, it's not 7:52.
Close enough.
Well, welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I'm Daniel.
I'm Chris.
And we are the hosts of the Jedi Enclave Presents. Now, this is Podcasting Podcast.
Which is only sometimes late.
Yes. We're only 2 minutes late today. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, this is our weekly live show podcast about Star Wars and Star Wars accessories and other fantasy and sci-fi things that we enjoy. Tonight, talking about we got some big juicy Star Wars news we got to talk about. It has finally happened, and we're going to talk about it. But someone needs to check up on Mike Zero, make sure he's okay. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms premiered on Sunday, and we watched the fuck out of it. We're going to be talking about that. Before we get into it, though, if you could follow us on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, Discord, TikTok. All of the links are there in the description of this video if you so choose. And if you so choose not to, then I got to tell you, I don't really care that much.
That's your choice.
Yeah, I'm not the cops. Let's get into this though, because I don't know how long we're gonna spend talking about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It could be forever.
Yeah. There's a lot to go into there.
So first, let's get into Star Wars. That way we get someone last week, by the way, after the show had ended, put in our comment section on Facebook. I thought you were talking about Star Wars. I'm gone.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, see ya. We'll see how that goes. I also made this point the other day, I think, when we were streaming. There are a lot of people that have been here since we started. Mm-hmm. They still tune in for our video gaming streams.
They're familiar with our shtick.
Right. And it's like, if you're here and you trust us as fellow Star Wars fans, like, trust us a little bit that we like good stories. And so, like, when we talk about a show that we're watching on this show, it's usually because there's something pretty interesting about it. So if you've not seen it, go and watch it. Like, there's more to sci-fi and fantasy than just Star Wars. And I know that it's like sorry if that is a big deal to say, but like, for example, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, that shit's really good. Like, it's a lot of fun, What I'm saying is, don't at me when we talk about stuff that isn't Star Wars. However, talking about Star Wars first.
Yes.
There was a trailer for the trailer of Star Wars Darth Maul Shadow Lord, which happened today. It was, 25 seconds long? I assume the trailer tomorrow will be 2 minutes long. Did you see it yet?
No.
It looks pretty neat. It's a trailer for a trailer, so it's patently on its face ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like the art style is kind of cool. They quote a little bit of Duel of the Fates in there. Not much to report on this. Of course, they're dropping this motherfucker tomorrow, the day after our podcast, so that we have to wait an entire week to talk about it.
That they have done this because our biggest fan, Kathleen Kennedy, is out at Lucasfilm, and now they're like, fuck those guys.
Yeah, we don't have to listen to those guys anymore.
We're screwing over their podcast.
Because you know what we used to do? Like when when Lucasfilm wouldn't listen to us, we would just go and cry to Mommy Kathleen Kennedy and say, Mommy Kathleen Kennedy, as you know, we are Disney shills, as we are constantly accused of being. Will you please start dropping these trailers and shows on Wednesdays or before when our live show is? And Kathleen Kennedy used to scoop up both of us, feed us at her teat, and say, "Don't worry, little boys, I've got you." And now we don't have that anymore. So,
pro tip: if you really want
Obama.
Kathleen Kennedy to do something, just make puppy dog eyes at Brie Larson.
Yeah. Really, that is all we have to say about Darth Maul Shadow Lord until tomorrow. A weird thing I saw today, or not today, it was a few days ago, but there is a quote unquote, and I say this with a little bit of disdain, industry insider, I suppose, or leaker or something, who claims that we will see the Star Wars Jedi 3 game, which is the follow-up to Star Wars Jedi Survivor, in 2026, right? So this came from comicbook.com. The update came from Kind of Funny host Tim Geddes. He claimed the game will be both revealed and released in 2026, which I think is a bunch of bullshit.
I think it's not impossible, but it would be very, very difficult.
I would honestly be shocked if we get this game in 2026.
I would be as well.
That is crazy.
I will state that it is generally easier to make a sequel than to make a new game for a multitude of reasons. Some of them technical, being that like you've already built the foundations of like the game systems and the tools and everything.
And the like the engine that you're using and stuff.
And it's more expanding and deploying your mastery of those tools to make something new and cool rather than having to learn the tools and then make whatever. They also possibly, presumably, hopefully had some idea where the story was going to go when they were making 1 and 2. So this would be more in the lines of just getting to that conclusion that you've already planned out rather than having to come up with an entirely new story. So I think it's possible, but I don't think it's fair. When you brought this up in our Discord, I said if it does get released this year, it'll be December 31st.
Yeah. Probably at the earliest. It's also worth pointing out that games director ended up leaving Respawn as well, and I don't know. Basically, usually how this works is we'll get like a cinematic trailer, and then months later we'll get a gameplay trailer,
and then it'll get delayed.
Yeah,
and then we'll get another trailer, and then it'll get delayed again. Yeah. And then we'll get the launch trailer, and then it'll finally come out.
And then there'll be a massive day 1 update.
Yes.
Yeah. And it won't work on PC. That's always how these things go. So this is like secondhand information. This is a guy I know, heard from a guy I know. So we're putting the credibility of this at pretty low. I don't know. It would be crazy to me that they would just drop that shit before, like, I don't know, Zero Company or any of the other Star Wars games we're like supposed to be getting. Don't get me wrong. Guys, if we're like chugging into June and they're like, "Oh, you're getting this game in a couple months," I'll apologize and I'll be fucking happy that is the case. However,
you'd be at even fuller mass than that guy in the pit.
Yeah. If you watch the pit, you understand what we're saying. So, all right. The day has finally come, Chris.
Has it?
After 14 years, the president of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, has officially retired.
The queen is dead.
Yes.
Long live the queen.
Now, a couple things about this. It turns out this leaked about a week ago, or a week before it was announced.
Which is astonishing because like Disney was planning this shit for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it only leaked last week.
I think Disney leaked it.
It could be.
This is a pretty common, you kind of soften the ground a little bit and get everyone, you set the expectation so it kind of wears off for a week and then you announce the news.
Yeah.
So it turns out that the reports that we were reading were correct, that Kathleen Kennedy was retiring after her 14-year stay at Lucasfilm, which I will point out, by the way, was a condition when Disney approached George Lucas about buying Star Wars.
He's like, you put Kathleen Kennedy in charge of that shit.
Yeah, that was a condition of that sale. And Kathleen Kennedy has become the favored boogeyman of the right. So much so that people bitch about Kathleen Kennedy in Star Wars comment threads when they're not really even Star Wars fans. They're just very political and want to make it everyone else's problem. And the people have been making up the people like Star Wars Theory and Mike Zero and Doomcock and all these guys have like propped up this weird false narrative that there's like this internal civil war at Lucasfilm between Kathleen Kennedy and all of the men, like Dave Filoni and all those guys, and how they really hate her and everyone hates her. And it's obviously not true. George Lucas loved Kathleen Kennedy. Dave Filoni is friends with Kathleen Kennedy.
I mean, she goes into this because she gave a big, long interview with Deadline. And one of the things she mentions is that, like, when I approached women about wanting to be in Star Wars, I said, okay, look, there are a bunch of really shitty people.
Yep.
Like, not as many as you would think, but they speak very loudly, and they're going to say a lot of shitty things about you.
Yeah.
So if you're, like, if you can't deal with that, that's fine. No hard feelings.
Yeah.
Just the exit's over there.
Right.
But if you're going to be in this, you have to deal with that.
Yeah. So... before we get into she did an exit interview and kind of laid a bunch of shit out.
Yep.
We're going to talk about some of it. I just want to point out she's 72 years old. It looks like it isn't like a full retirement. She might still be
she said
doing
she was going to go
projects.
produce some more movies.
It sounds like she might even still produce some Star Wars stuff.
So I believe she said she would do whatever Dave Filoni needs her to do, basically.
Yeah. So, if you're one of those guys that really bought into the rage bait on the internet about Kathleen Kennedy and how evil she is and all that other shit,
and how she's going to be publicly executed at Disney World any day now.
Yeah, it's just she's 72 years old. 14 years is a long stay for a job that she had. The fact that she stayed that long is kind of crazy. And this is almost certainly good for Star Wars, regardless of who the president was. It could have been George Lucas. 14 years, you get a new person in, you shake things up a little bit. It will almost always improve the IP, as long as you're not putting like a David Zaslav or something in, right? It was like, oh, we're gonna do Housewives of Alderaan actually instead of Star Wars.
We should mention that Kathleen Kennedy kept that role for as long as she did, in part because she's really fucking good at her job.
Yeah, she is fantastic.
The stuff she produced made a shit ton of money, which is how she's judged in that job performance. Yeah,
it's the other thing is that a lot of the hate about Kathleen Kennedy is either, and I'm glad I brought this up because I want to chat about this just for a couple of minutes before we start. The hate toward her is usually due to misquoted Kathleen Kennedy things or blatant misinformation by people like Mike Zero and Star Wars Theory, or if it's a misunderstanding of what her job is, right? As the president of Lucasfilm, she was the president. She made decisions.
She was a glorified accountant.
Well, I don't want to downplay that too much. She was the president of Lucasfilm. Yes. At the end of the day, what she said was law there.
Yes.
However, as an executive producer, she was not a creative force in Star Wars. She was a person behind the scenes that made sure that the paychecks got cut and that everyone, not like cut, but like, that everyone got their paychecks and everything was on budget and on time and everything. So Kathleen Kennedy wasn't sitting down there like a little gremlin in a back room with a red marker. It's like, no, make it more gay.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what Kathleen Kennedy did. The other thing is there are two big colossal misunderstandings that when I see them online, even still today, people talk about them. And it is misinformation at best, and at worst, it's just dishonest bullshit. The first is this big controversy about her The Force is Female shirt. And I would like everyone to know, just in case you haven't, you've been lied to about this or whatever. Kathleen Kennedy went to a Nike event Nike was doing an ad campaign called The Force is Female. Had nothing to do with Star Wars. Literally nothing to do with Star Wars. And she went to the event because she's a Hollywood executive. They go to shit like that. They handed her a shirt and she said, okay, and put it on. And that just, like, I think Star Wars Theory cried about that motherfucking photo for like 3 weeks straight. Like, it triggered those dumb, like, motherfuckers, like Mike Zero and Star Wars Theory so much that they talked about it for months. So please remember that The Force is Female was never a Star Wars thing. It was a Nike thing, entirely divorced from Star Wars. And if you bought into it, you're probably an idiot. The second thing
That's
is
so fucking pathetic.
Yeah. The second thing is there is a famous Kathleen Kennedy quote that is constantly cited and taken out of context. And they'll show you the quote, which is, we didn't have any novels to base the films off of. And people engineer that into she's pretending like legends didn't existed. There were all these books and everything. And what she actually said in the interview was that they weren't adapting a novel into a film. When they did Force Awakens, they were starting with a new story. Mm-hmm. And so they didn't have a pre-established book like in Game of Thrones, how they would, they based the first season off of the first book. Basically what she was saying was, we didn't have that. Like, we didn't have a pre-existing thing. Like, we were starting from scratch. And so it was more difficult that way. She did not mean that legends didn't exist. She just meant that the story they're telling didn't exist in book form first. That's all she meant. And it was taken by the Mike Zeros and the Star Wars series of the world as an insult and a slap in the face to fans, which is a thing they love to say all the fucking time. And it's another one of those things where, like, if you've bought into it, you're probably an idiot. So learn a little bit of media literacy and call me in the morning. So it turns out that this retirement has been planned probably about 2 years ago with Bob Iger and Alan Bergman. And it makes sense that a transition like this, they would start planning well in advance. That way the transfer of power and the handoff is nice and smooth. And this is also proof she was not fired, right?
Yeah.
Because this is not what happens when people are fired.
Yeah. Your employer does not give you 2 years notice that you're going to be fired.
Yeah. And like more or less exclusive pick on who takes over your job.
Yeah.
So obviously Kathleen Kennedy wasn't fired. She retired. So we know now that Dave Filoni and Lin-Wen Brennan are going to be co-presidenting the company, where Dave Filoni will handle all things creative, and Brennan will be doing, it's my nephew's name, will be doing
the money.
Yeah, the money side of it. Which, by the way, all the news is about Dave Filoni this week, and I bet that Lin-Wen Brennan, a name we've not heard until this week, is like, thank God, no one, I don't care.
Yes.
I just want to do business.
Pay no attention to the executive behind the curtain.
Yes, please. So I did, I think probably months ago or even longer ago, when the fans started talking about Dave Filoni as the president of Lucasfilm, I asserted correctly that he really would have no interest in being the president of a company like this, unless he was only in charge of the creative stuff. Which, by the way, he's held that title for I think like a year now. Anyway, his job hasn't changed. He's just like now officially co-president or whatever. So, Kathleen Kennedy says she is returning to producing, and wants to make some more movies, including a more eclectic slate like earlier in her career, which is really neat. And also mentioned that it is not like out of the ballpark that she'll be producing other Star Wars things, depending, because she mentioned that she has some like loose threads at Lucasfilm that she would like to tie up, but she was like, however, I'm not the boss there anymore. Yeah. Like Dave Filoni and Lin-Wen Brennan.
Yeah.
Mrs. Brennan is the boss. So
if they call me and say, look, we need someone to wrangle Taika Waititi and make him actually make this movie.
She talked about Taika Waititi and said, okay, so let's get to some. She talked a little bit about AI and how dicey it is to talk about in creativity and stuff. So We got some details on Star Wars Starfighter.
Apparently, the child actor is really fucking great.
Yes, which I'm not surprised about, and this is a trend we're seeing in more properties. I think child actors are just getting better.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if it's because like back in the day, child actors were picked from circuits. Like you know the kids would do like there'd be like commercial circuits or like like kids Disney circuits or whatever, and they would more or less just pick from those groups. And now it's a lot more open than that. I think that because of the internet and because you can meet the one random kid from bumfuck nowhere who's never acted before, but emails in a video and someone sees it, and you're just like, oh, holy shit, that kid's or in the case of the one kid from Adolescence, the youngest kid ever to win a fucking grant or an Oscar or whatever. So. It turns out that the actor you're talking about, Flynn Gray, apparently brilliant actor. They were talking about how they originally meant this to be a single installment film. However, it looks like they're kind of leaving some wiggle room at the end so that they could add on more to it. The Mandalorian Grogu film, which is releasing in May, I think, coming
something
up
like that. Yeah.
So she says that she'll be overseeing effects integration and reviewing the movie with Favreau and being involved in post production with it. So this is another instance where she's not really done at Star Wars totally, but she's still kind of got her fingers in it a little bit. So she mentions they asked her what the highs and lows of running Star Wars was, and she's like, "I'm going to be real honest with you. The scale of global love for Star Wars, bringing in new audiences, finding new characters, expanding the galaxy, all the cool shit about being the president of Star Wars
really
or Lucasfilm, cool. I love that. You know what I really hated, though? Mike Zero and Star Wars Theory and all of these motherfucking rage baiters on the internet who will not shut their mouths about the woke agenda and all this other bullshit."
God,
now, I'm paraphrasing.
She had called them out by name. Yeah. She hadn't, but I wish she did.
I am paraphrasing. Let's see what else. Oh, another thing, the James Mangold thing looks like it is on the back burner now. Might not happen. Taika Waititi has turned in his script. And Kathleen Kennedy finds it hilarious and great, but she's like, it's out of my hands now, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
Donald Glover's turned in his script for the Lando film. She talked a little bit about this Steve Soderbergh and Adam Driver Hunt for Ben Solo movie.
She acknowledged that it existed.
And she's like, you know what, guys? I fucking liked it. Okay? Sue me. So, let's see. The Simon Kinberg project said a draft was read in August and was good, but not their story was, quote-unquote, pretty much upended. They did a detailed 70-page treatment finished about 4 weeks prior and expects a new script in March. Says Filoni / Brennan are on board, and it would be a new trilogy extended into the 2030s. And then this is really interesting. Rian Johnson, she was talking about Rian Johnson a little bit, and was like, yeah, it turns out that he was kind of spooked by all the terrible fans.
And he had this other offer to go to Netflix and make the Knives Out movies, and he's like, I'm just going to go do that.
Yes. Now, here's the interesting drama about this. This interview aired, or was published, and Rian Johnson took to Twitter and was like, I was not scared. So there is some drama there that we don't know about, and I'd be interested to know about it. And it looks like Dave Filoni's Mandoverse film is on hold, which I find hilarious because Dave Filoni is the president of Lucasfilm now. So, like, how is that working?
I think I don't have any interior knowledge of Lucasfilm or how this particular project is going, but I would, like, my best guess is that he has knowledge of the script and the planning and the pre-production, all that. And he's like, you know what? This is just not quite ready for the big time yet. Yeah. So let's shelve this and work on it.
Now, that is the project we've been talking about recently that we thought that Mando and Grogu was going to be.
Yeah, the tie it all together thing.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with that. Finally, some notes on Kathleen Kennedy's regrets and retrospective judgments. She said that Solo: A Star Wars Story expresses she had some regret over that, saying conceptually you can't replace Han Solo, quote unquote, right now, and they did it too soon, despite praising Alden Ehrenreich's work.
I disagree.
Yeah, I think she's dead wrong about this. I think if they hadn't released it right after we had 10 other fucking Star Wars movies, like we were saturated with Star Wars movies. It was a weird release schedule. They should have just let they should have just let Lord Miller cook and do their thing, and I'm sure it would have been fine. The thing is, like, I don't think anyone cared. No one wanted to know how Han Solo got his stripy pants or his blaster or how he got his last name. Like, I think we would have been on board for a Solo story that was really solid with a recast Han Solo, because he did fine, and I don't think that was people's problem with that movie.
Alden Ehrenreich was absolutely not the problem with that movie.
That movie was a mess. That was the problem. They clearly shot an entire movie, scrapped it, and then shot an entirely different one, right?
And they're like, okay, we spent all this money. Like, can you, like, jam some bits and pieces from this first one into your new one?
Yeah.
And
did you have anything to add about Han Solo?
Not really.
You seem like you want to say, okay. So they were like, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And she goes, you know what? I regret nothing.
God bless.
I don't care how many people didn't go to that fucking movie. I love Harrison Ford. I love Indiana Jones. Fuck y'all.
That is the kind of energy that I strive to bring to all my endeavors.
Yeah. I thought it was, you know what, man? Like, she's been involved in a bunch of other Indiana Jones stuff in the past, and I'm sure she was like, you know what, I like this. Leave me alone. I don't care. We're doing Indiana Jones until Harrison Ford is dead and in the fucking ground. All right. Well, so real quick, a non-Star Wars thing. I didn't read the particulars. I just saw it as like we were like getting ready.
The Ubisoft thing.
Yeah, the Ubisoft thing. I know that they're so as you're looking this up, I will preface this by saying video game companies love to lay off tons of people because it will improve their bottom line, not because they need to lay them off. They will destroy people's livelihoods just to make a little bit of extra money. So have that in your mind as we're going forward with this. And I've not read the article all the way. I know for a fact. So Ubisoft is canceling like 6 games. And I know one of them was the Prince of Persia remake.
Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, as well as 4 unannounced games, which were 3 new IPs and a mobile game.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Guys, Ubisoft sucks. It really is a terrible company. And the people that run it are criminals and predators and sexual abusers. So, yeah. Let's go on to something more cheerful.
Okay.
Which is that on Sunday, we had our next entry into the Game of Thrones universe. Which, if you followed this show at all, or you watched any of our buzzed recaps, or you've literally mentioned Game of Thrones around me,
you know that Daniel fucking lives and breathes this shit.
I do. It's one of my favorite fantasy stories of all time, and the fact that we're getting more now, and then more in June. I am so fucking stoked. So we're going to talk about this released on HBO on Sunday. Season 1, Episode 1, The Hedge Knight. We're going to do a quick spoiler-free review. If you've not seen it yet, we'll give you our spoiler-free thoughts. We'll give you a good warning when we go into spoilers. Go and watch it. It's only 40 minutes long. The episodes for this show will be shorter than your normal Game of Thrones, like 50-minute big episodes. So do you want to start just in case?
Yeah. This show has a very different vibe than the other Game of Thrones stuff, which is all very like dour and serious and terrible things happening to terrible people. This show's just kind of goofy.
Yeah,
like
it is really just
it's at a less serious time in Westerosian history, I think. And
well, at the very least, there isn't a dragon civil war happening.
Yeah,
so there's that.
And like the main character is significantly less aspirational than those others.
He's kind of a big moron, isn't he? So this is played by, this is in my notes, Dunk is a lovable moron, and he's brought to life by Pete Claffey.
He is a himbo, I dare say.
What is that?
A bimbo, but male. Big, strong, dumb.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Well, yeah.
He's a himbo.
I guess he's that, yeah.
I'm sorry. Strong, good-hearted, stupid.
Okay, so it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So another thing, the music in this series so far in the first season I liked. There's a really funny Game of Thrones thing, which we're going to talk about when we get into the recap.
They are very clearly aware of what universe they're playing in.
They also are aware the series music. You mean?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It is not Raymond Jawadi doing the music, but I think the guy we looked it up. I can't remember what his name is now, but
I also read his name in the credits and then promptly forgot it.
Yeah. Still is doing a good job. It sounds Game of Thronesy, except for the parts that don't. You were talking to me earlier.
There's this cue with whistling in it.
Yeah.
And it's
it's very folksy and
it's very whimsical.
Yeah, it's really neat. Dexter Soul Enzel, I think, is doing a fantastic job as Egg. He's kind of like,
speaking of child actors.
Yeah, right. Expertly plays him as a kid who is just a kid, but also has like this whole mysterious story that you can kind of sense about him. You know that there's more to this kid than perhaps that you can tell right off the bat. And what's funny is I saw an interview with this kid on YouTube, and it's really weird to see him with hair because he's in the show. He's like buck ass bald, and he actually has hair. So I think another MVP in this episode, particularly, is Daniel Ings's Lionel Baratheon.
Oh yes,
who was one of my favorite parts of the episode. And let me tell you, I would kill to see Lionel Baratheon have a conversation with King Rob, who is also a Baratheon, just like 60 years later or whatever. Apparently, laughing your ass off is a Baratheon family tradition, and I bet these guys would have loved it. You can tell. My fellow Game of Thrones fans will know this. The seed is strong in that family, right? Like, you can tell.
Yeah.
The stakes are so much smaller than what we're used to in Game of Thrones. It's a Game of Thrones story without dragons, which is, to me, sometimes, at least when I first heard it.
Well, there is a dragon. It's just not the
it's
dragon.
It's a mummer's dragon, yeah. So my initial thought when I was reading about this before I saw the show was Game of Thrones story without dragons is
what the fuck's the point?
Is a little like a Star Wars story without the Force. But like, this show found other ways to captivate me, and I'm kind of here for the ride. I think it's a lot of fun. So let us know in the comments what you thought. We are getting into spoilers. So if you've not seen it, go and watch it and come back. And tell us what your favorite parts were, your favorite characters were, what you think is going to happen if you don't know. So we're not doing any big overarching spoilers, even though I know more about this story going in than I do like House of the Dragon, which I've been avoiding reading Fire and Blood because I don't want to spoil what happens in the Civil War. So, which, by the way, real quick, just this happens 70 years after the Targaryen Civil War with the dragons. Dragons aren't around anymore because they're all fucking dead. So if you're watching House of the Dragon, don't, like me, fall in love with all the dragons. Yeah, I love all of them. I know all of their names. And it's like about equidistant from that and Game of Thrones proper. It's like right there in the middle. So, all right, we open on a man named Duncan
digging a grave,
burying his knight mentor Sir Pennytree, and this is a good spot where I will point out that a lot of the shots from this show seem to be taken, at least a lot of the important ones, straight from the illustrations in the book. Because the book has really cool, like, black and white illustrations of certain moments. Even some that are really stylistic, where they'll like the scene with Dunk and Egg in the stable. In the book, they have Dunk on one page looking at Egg on the other page, and it is really neat. It's very strange for Game of Thrones too, because it's not that kind of thing. That's the thing, is that like this show is way different because the text is way different than what we're used to in Game of Thrones. So we get some great show and don't tell character development with Duncan, right? First of all, he doesn't know any prayers.
Yep.
He's like, there should be a fucking sept in here. I don't know like anything about this.
I don't know anything about that, but you were a good knight mostly, and you taught me a bunch of shit and only beat me when I deserved it.
Yeah, low-key abusive, but it's in this time, it's the best he could hope for, which is really funny. We find out that he deserved all the lashings he got except one in a tavern somewhere where he was accused of stealing a pie, and some other kid did it, and he tried to tell Arlen that he didn't do it, and he didn't believe him. He smacked him anyway.
I love that there was just a montage of him getting slapped.
Yeah. What is it that he says? He keeps threatening.
Cuff your ear.
Yeah, cuff your ear. Right. Him getting like cuffed right in the fucking face. Yeah. So we get a little bit of a hint that so Duncan obviously is kind of an idiot,
yes,
a big tall idiot, but he's more of a strategic thinker than you'd expect, because he makes this comment about like, I could sell all 3 fucking horses, live like a king for a couple of years, maybe go join the Night's Watch or whatever. And then is like, or the City Guard, not the Night's Watch. Yeah. And like in King's Landing, and he's like, but like, where is that going to lead me down the road? Like, that money's not going to last forever, and then I'm just going to have to end up stealing and begging anyway. So, yeah. And then he looks down at his at Arlen's sword and was like, I mean, shit, I'd bury this, but it just rust. And honestly, now that I'm holding it, like,
I'm pretty good with this thing.
That shit. You know what? I could stab people with this too. So I guess I'll go to the tournament.
And there's this big swelling music. It's the Game of Thrones
starts
up, and then it cuts to a fart sound.
No. It smash cuts to Duncan blowing his whole ass out behind a tree. And guys, I swear to God, we're gonna find out. In a couple of years, we're gonna find out that this scene was a post-it note that George R.R. Martin wrote in the script. He was like, I want the Game of Thrones theme, and I want to make sure those motherfuckers Benioff and Weiss are watching. Play the Game of Thrones theme, have Duncan shit all over the place. George R.R. Martin, period.
George R.R. Martin sends his regards.
Yeah, all right. Oh, that's really good. See, we've rubbed off on you a little bit. All right, so
So he goes fucking riding.
Right. He sets out for Ashford, which is where the tournament's happening. And he gets there at night at the inn, and he goes to the stables, and he meets this strange, peculiar boy with no hair. And he says, hey, feed my horses and fucking take care of them. And the boy says, I could if I wanted to. And he's like,
what the fuck's your problem, kid?
Dunk's like, you watch your motherfucking mouth, you little shit.
I'm the knight here.
Yeah. But he, like, you can tell immediately Duncan is like, what is up with this fucking kid? Like, just the fact that he, like, mouthed off to him like that. So, Dunk goes into the inn, which is mostly empty except for one passed out dude that we're going to talk about here in a second. The innkeeper says, she's like, hey, we've got lamb, we've got fucking duck. Which one do you want? And he's like, yes. I would like both, please. And she's like, that makes sense. You're a fucking giant.
Great.
Yeah.
I like this. Like, she's pouring some wine into a cup. She like drinks.
Well, she drinks out of it
and pours some and hands it to him.
I have a feeling that Westeros probably doesn't have the time equivalent of like the human, like health and human safety or something.
No,
they're not doing inspections at the Ashford Inn. So there's an interesting line from the innkeeper. They're talking about the big tournament, and she makes this comment about how jousts never change the price of eggs. And it's kind of like this weird, interesting look on tournaments from the POV of like the small folk, where like nothing really changes their day-to-day where they are unless a giant dragon shows up and burns everything they've ever loved and ever will do down.
This tournament's just some rich assholes having fun.
And here we are, struggling to make ends meet. My fucking there's a bald kid out. I don't even know who the fuck that kid is.
Yeah, he just showed up one day.
So there is a strange moment where the drunk guy, who we find out is a Targaryen,
just suddenly wakes up.
Yep. And he wakes up and he looks at Dunk and he's like, hey, I've dreamed of you. You fucking stay away from me. And Dunk's like, okay.
And this drunk guy skitters up the stairs. And
now the innkeeper is like, don't worry about him. He's fucking weird. However, and again, I'm saying this from a place, I don't know what happens in this story, but Targaryens sometimes are weird. Fucking, they can see into the future and shit.
It's all the incest.
Yeah, and it probably is. It is literally syphilis eating away at their brains. But there are things called Targaryen dreamers. Helena, for example, in House of the Dragon.
Bug girl.
Yeah. King Viserys really wanted to be a Targaryen dreamer, but he just wasn't. So I have a feeling this will be significant later, I think. So Dunk goes to the stables, and he finds the same boy from earlier wearing all of Dunk's armor. He's sitting on his war horse, and Dunk's like,
"What the fuck are you doing, you little
kid?
shit?"
Yeah, and we find out that the boy's mother is dead, and he doesn't belong to the innkeeper because he's like, go to your mom. He's like, that's not my mom, motherfucker.
She's dead.
Yeah. He's like, well, mine is too. Stop being a pussy.
I love that this kid immediately goes to the line you use when someone's trying to make you feel bad, like, "Oh, I fucked your mom. My mom's dead."
Yeah, right. So Egg is like, we don't know his name is Egg yet, but he offers to squire for him if he takes him to Ashford, and Dunk turns him down. He's like, I
don't need a fucking squire.
I've got so many. I have 3 horses to feed. Like, I don't need some little boy hanging around me. He tosses him a coin out of pity and rides away. And
like, you'll pick it up when I'm gone, you proud little shit.
Which, by the way, he doesn't. In the shot, even after Dunk leaves, and there's a significant reason why that kid wouldn't bend down to pick up, which is basically a penny.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into later, not in this episode, but it'll come up. So. Dunk rides to the tourney grounds, and he starts to check the place out. He rides past where the jousts are, and he's like, "Oh, this is so fucking cool." Yeah. So he goes to visit the Master of Games, who is disgusting, by the way. His his spit pot and everything. He tries to convince him. Dunk tries to convince him that he's a knight.
My favorite part of this, on his way into the room, he bangs his head against the door frame.
Yeah, because he's like 800 feet tall. Yeah. So. The guy gives him this whole thing about, like, he's like, if we find out that you're just pretending to be a knight, we have this whole thing called the Ashford chair.
Yeah, we fucking strip you naked, tie your limbs up, and then fuck you with a spike until you're dead.
God, TikTok's like, what are you guys talking about?
TikTok can lick my left nut.
The algorithm's like, So he's like, I'm just fucking with you. No, I'm going to tell you, I don't give a shit who you are or what you're doing here, but I'll tell you that I was instructed by the Lord of the land that we're not supposed to accept any sell swords or unmade.
Yeah.
Knights.
So fucking get a lord or a knight to vouch for you.
Yeah. And he's like someone like Sir Dondarrion, and Dunk's like, oh,
I know that guy.
I know that guy. He doesn't know me, but the guy that died that made me a knight fought for him in this war, so he'll probably remember him.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, I
good fucking luck with that kid.
I don't want to be talking to you anymore, so if you could turn around and leave, that'd be great. So he turns around to leave, and he hits his head on the door.
On the door frame again.
So, by the way, we find out Duncan's financial situation is pretty dire. If he enters and loses, the winner gets all of his shit, all of his armor, all of his weapons, all of his horses.
And he has to ransom it back.
He has to ransom it back, which he does not have the money for. So he must win, or he's fucked, right? And he's pretty optimistic about it, because the guy is like, if you lose, you'll need coin to ransom your shit. And he's like, oh, I don't intend to lose, my good sir. And the guy is like, okay, just get the fuck out. So Dunk arrives at Dondarrion's tent. And
first he's like going across... I think this happens first. He sees the guys practicing fighting, right?
Nope, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Dunk arrives at Dondarrion's tent. A couple of sex workers are outside. Turns out Dondarrion's taking a nap because he just fucked too hard and is a little sleepy. And
who among us?
Yeah. So the sex workers outside this tent are hilarious, by the way, and I love them. They're always giving Dunk a hard time. We get this universe's definition of a hedge knight. Which I'm pretty sure is just a hedge knight everywhere, which is
you're too fucking broke and you sleep in a hedge.
Yeah, you sleep under a hedge. Yeah.
So
so they're like, come back later when he's awake and talk.
When he's not so tuckered out.
So he sets out to find somewhere to sleep and encounters Sir Stephen Fossaway beating the absolute shit out of his squire and cousin, who is Raymond Fossaway. So he challenges Dunk. He's like, hey, you tall motherfucker, come over here and
come fight me.
Yeah, let me beat your knees in. And Dunk's like, no, I don't think I will.
I don't know. No.
And which, by the way, the cousin's like, no, come over here and kick this motherfucker's ass. I'm so
Please,
tired of him. Yeah.
I'm begging you.
So he's like, well, it was fun, but my 3 horses are going to go find a hedge. See you later. So Dunk goes back to Dondarrion's tent in the evening.
Well, first there's a sequence where he has a bath in the stream.
Oh yeah, we get to see Dunk's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he has a bath in the stream. That's all, I think.
Pretty much, yeah.
So he goes back to Dundarian's tent in the evening, but he's asleep again because he has gout-ridden toes.
Something like
I
that.
I don't know if that's a rheumatism thing. I don't know.
And the
And
sex
it
workers
affects
are
only
like,
his toes.
yeah.
His toes.
The sex workers are like dressing up a third sex worker who's supposed to be like a corpse, and like at one point she like sits up and like, you're supposed to be dead, honey.
Yeah, so it's really funny because Dunk walks into the tent. And they're doing the thing that we know in Game of Thrones, that they have these funeral rituals where they paint eyes on stones, and and Dunk looks down at her like, "Oh shit, is a dead chick," and she sits up, and it like on the side of the frame, you see Dunk go, "Whoa,
Jesus Christ,
oh God." So yeah, they're practicing for a little play they're gonna do later, right? So Dunk is discouraged when so they take pity on him a little bit because he's like, "Ladies,
do you have to like
could you stop being dicks to me?"
Yeah,
and they're like, "Look, kid, we have met so many up-and-coming young Green Knights, and they all leave fucking losers. And I'm sorry, but that's just how the world goes." And Dunk starts to think that maybe he's not the big fish that he thought he was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Dunk sees a play about Serwyn of the Mirror Shield, who defeats a dragon pretty much by super shining his shield and showing the dragon his reflection, and the dragon has never seen his reflection, so he's like, "Oh fuck, what's that?" And that's how he wins, right? So, complete with a mummer's dragon, so it's a fake dragon, and they've got fuel,
flamethrower.
Now, the reason we have mummer's dragons, by the way, is because there are no dragons.
The real dragons are all dead.
They're all dead, which is an interesting position for the Targaryens to be in. Because
traditionally they held power because they had dragons.
Yeah, and now they're like, "We rule over all of you," and everyone's starting to be like, "You and what fucking dragons?" Yeah, why? A young Dornish woman named Tansel catches Dunk's eye, and he's like, "Damn, girl, damn," and she looks at him, and she's like, "Damn,
you're kind of tall."
You know what they say about tall guys? They're hung as fuck. So Dunk runs into Raymond Fossaway, the little cousin of who is like, "Hey, we should be buds. In fact, I'm going to take you out to dinner at this open feast being held at the tent of House Baratheon." Mm-hmm. And they go, and Dunk sits down and sees all this food, and he's like, "Oh my God." And just like,
I've never been so happy in my entire life.
He is eating his weight in food. Yep. He's drinking all the ale he can get. Mm-hmm. And a little bit later, Sir Lionel Baratheon, the Laughing Storm, is so surprised to see someone as big as him, like physically as large. Yeah. He sends his two henchmen over, and they're like, "Lord Baratheon wants a fucking word," and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he walks over with a fucking pastry.
Yeah, he walks up still with this fucking tart.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hi,
what are we doing here?"
And so Lionel Baratheon's like, "Listen, all these fucking pretenders in this tent, trying to get my political favor, trying to suck my dick, trying to wear my antler hat. I don't fucking know. Which one are you?" And Dunk's like, "I'm here for the food."
Yeah.
Baratheon's like, "Holy shit, like an honest guy. What the? Come here and sit down with me."
You want to dance?
Yeah. Oh, I know. They do this great, which by the way, Dunk the Tall doing a fucking dance is maybe one of the worst awkward things in the world. However, they do this really neat dance where Lionel and Dunk dance together.
And like they try to stomp
but
on
it's stomping each other's feet, and Dunk is able to like really get him, and it's like there's this beautiful bromance.
And like Lionel Baratheon's like, "We're best friends now."
Yeah. And we cut to them at the head table. Dunk's wearing Baratheon's hat and shit, and they're both drunk off their asses, right?
And they're having this tender moment that you have when you're drunk off your ass
with your bro, right? Yeah, and they're talking. What's really funny is that like Baratheon is really obviously a thinker. Mm-hmm. Right, he has like these big thoughts, and like, he even interrupts
before dinner. That he has this. I had this deep thought. All you shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah. And then he kind of forgets it too. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, fuck,
like,
what was so
I don't know, 100 gold to whoever beats me in the tournament."
Yeah, and so they're having this. You can tell. I think Lionel Baratheon's one of those guys that is publicly an extrovert when he needs to be, but is in his heart of hearts an introvert that cares. Like, you know how like I'm an introvert. I would much rather have brass tacks, serious conversation with someone than like small talk, right? Yeah. And that is what they're doing. They're having this serious talk about the universe and everything. And Dunk talks about he lacks a lot of confidence because he's lowborn and he hasn't had the training that like rich kids get when they're little.
I don't know what to do about this tournament, right? Because like if I lose all my possessions and I don't have any money to get them back. Like,
and then Baratheon gives him a profound line, which is, "It is a great honor to test oneself against a worthy opponent." And
Dunk's like,
"Holy shit, you're right."
Yeah.
Damn.
So you think I should do it? And Baratheon's like, I don't know. I'm really quite drunk right now.
Why the fuck are you asking me, man?
And then he takes the antlers off Duncan's head, puts them on his own, like steps on the table to walk out of scene.
Yep, and just leaves, yeah. So on his way out, Dunk bumps into Dondarrion, who's got a woman on each fucking arm, right?
It's like, Dondarrion, hey, my master fought for your father at this famous battle, and Dondarrion's like, who the fuck are you? Who's your guy?
Arlen Pennytree? Which one of the 800 men was he?
He got injured in service to your father.
He's like, we all got injured. That's what do I care?
That's what happens in a battle. Come on, man.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. Okay, look, I don't know who you are. Fuck off. He's like, well, this sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
So Duncan decides to slink off to his hedge camp, not really sure what's going to happen tomorrow, because tomorrow is when he's supposed to bring him to the Master of Arms and get in the tournament. So he returns to camp to find the child from before at his fire,
cooking up a fish. I think he made the fire, actually.
Yes, he cleaned he cleaned Dunk's clothes and he cleaned the horses, and he is like, but really I want to be a squire. And so we find out that the boys from King's Landing, Dunk guesses Flea Bottom, which I think he would, because I think Dunk is from Flea Bottom, which is like the real shitty part of like the poorest part of King's Landing, like the slums. And the kid's like, I'm not from Flea Bottom. And he's like, also my name is Egg. And he's like, oh, that's a weird fucking name.
My name is Sir Dunk. And
yeah.
Egg's like, really? He's like, fine, it's fucking Sir Duncan the Tall.
Yeah.
I love Egg is like, I've never fucking heard of that.
Yeah.
And he's, so you know all the knights in the
you've heard of every fucking knight in the world?
I've heard of the good ones.
Yeah, he's like, I know the ones that aren't fucking dumb. And then he calls him out because his belt is, because he's like, I'm going to beat you with my belt. And he's like, your belt's made of rope, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, but it holds my sword. It's good enough. Yeah. Shut up.
So there's something about this boy that gets to Duncan. And they have similar backgrounds. Mm-hmm. But Egg is like clearly fearless and really smart, and Dunk's like, you know what? Fuck it.
I need someone around who's smart. It's clearly not going to be me.
Fuck it. You know what? Yeah. You be my Padawan. I'll teach you the way of the sword. Mm-hmm. You clean all my shit, and I will beat you less than my master beat me. How's that?
Which honestly, like for the time period, that's probably about the best you're going to do.
Right. So later that night, they sleep under the tree and they gaze up at the night sky. And Egg points out a shooting star and says, "It's good luck to whoever beholds it." And so Dunk's like everybody who sees it, like everyone here. And he's like, "Yeah, but that's the thing.
They're all in their fucking tents.
All those dumb fucking knights are in their tents, looking up at the top of their tent. So nobody saw it except for us." So we're gonna win this fucking tournament, man. Yeah. Dunk's like, "Yes, I'm glad I have you here." So, it turns out the luck may only be for them. And I predict, again, I've not read the book. I'm not sure how the story goes. I predict that Lionel Baratheon is going to be the guy that sponsors him.
Yeah.
Right?
That seems in
character. Because Dondarrion's like, fuck you, dude. I don't know who you are. Fuck off.
Baratheon's like, we're bros now.
Yeah, he's like, I will meet you in the field of battle. I need a fucking rematch from that dance. Yeah, so all the way around, this show is fucking great. I really love it. Yeah. It is. I had some reservations because I got to tell you, man, 90% of the reason I show up for Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon are for the dragons. Mm-hmm. Those fucking dragons. And Arya Stark, my favorite character in the Game of Thrones, and probably Daemon.
Yeah.
Targaryen in House of the Dragon with his little crime hoodie. Yep. So like, I was not sure if no dragons in Game of Thrones, how that was going to be, but I think so far, if they keep the scale kind of
hedge knighty,
and they go from town to town, tournament to tournament, and we know that I've not read the source material, but I do know that, I mean, Duncan the Tall makes his way into the Kingsguard book, which so the Kingsguard is like the secret service for the king.
That they guard the king.
Yeah, and they have this giant book of all the brothers of the Kingsguard and all of their accomplishments. And Duncan the Tall is in it. So he makes his way somehow from this little tournament in Ashford all the way to fucking King's Landing, right? And we also know that Duncan the Tall is an ancestor of Brienne of Tarth.
Oh.
So
yeah, that tracks.
Yeah,
actually.
right, because she's like real fucking tall too. So like there is a story here, and it could be epic as fuck, and I'm certain to think we probably don't need dragons for it. So I'm excited to see it. All right, that's the end of our show today. We'll be back next week. Next week we're talking about Another of the Seven Kingdoms. Wonder Man will be out by then. So we're going to be talking about that.
We'll actually have the trailer, not just a trailer for a trailer.
Yeah, we're talking. Well, you're talking about Darth Maul.
Yes.
Shadow Lord. We'll talk about that trailer, and there'll be gaming streams throughout the week. So give us a like everywhere. Let us know what you thought in the comments, and we'll see you guys.